Good too.
I don't need, it's okay.
Are we ready?
So just out of curiosity, sorry, because I'm supposed to pick up dinner after this, do you think, I was thinking maybe done like 6:45, 7, but.
It could be. Oh my God, that is good. I
It's
love
like, I
it.
looked at it, like, there's not a lot of people here, so I thought it might be quicker.
Thank you. Okay. Are we ready? Good evening. It is Tuesday, April 15th, and it is 6:01. I am going to call our Downtown Management Board meeting to open and call to order. And the first thing on our agenda is the consent agenda to approve all of our previous happenings. The approval of our meeting minutes, payment of marked bills, and acceptance of the February and March expense and income reports.
I will make a motion to approve.
Thank you, and Joe seconds that. Thank you, and that has passed.
Oh, take a vote.
We have to vote on this one too? Okay.
Is this consent?
Consent, sorry. Thank you for guiding me.
You're very
Amy.
welcome.
We would like to take a vote to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. That's approved, and now we go to public comments. Do we have anybody on the phone? Online?
No.
Okay. Okay, now to
I
new.
totally get it.
What's
I
that?
said, I totally get it.
Yeah, it's not my forte. So new business, we're going to go with the reports by the Downtown Management Board committees and staff. Would that be?
Do you want to start with parking?
Sure.
Yeah.
The Seville renovation started on Monday.
Yay.
We have 4 pay stations on order that they will go 2 in Seville, 1 in Petrie, and 1 in Park Garden. So 1,
And we all know where those are now because of your nice
yes,
email.
everyone know? Okay, good.
I can't remember those things. I know
Seville is
where
right
Seville-
behind you.
I know where Seville is.
And then Park Garden is City Park Grill,
Mhm.
right next to it.
Oh, okay.
And Petrie is Grain Train.
Mhm.
Okay. Got it.
She did send out a memo and it's really nice to have.
Yeah. Oh, I can bring one around to everyone too.
That's, I'm sure I have it in an email, I'm just.
Yeah.
So.
So one of the fun little stats that the smart meters give us is, last week, the average spend if cash goes into the meter was 60 cents. But if people use a credit card, it's $1.60. So that's one of the other reasons why if they use a credit card, they're gonna plan on spending more time downtown, which is fantastic. Yeah, thought that was a little fun fact. Yep. And then the other thing, just for sharing and transparency, 2 of our people are still here and 1 had a really adverse interaction with a member of our community, and so she quit. So again, we want people to be nice.
A downtown person or a?
Yeah, a downtown person. So we're still looking, so if you know anyone that wants some part-time hours that's very nice, they gotta be super positive, that's what we were looking for.
De-escalation.
They have to have thick skin too.
Yes.
Yeah, or the ability to just take a walk and cry somewhere else. That happens too, but yeah, so our revenue, I mean, in addition to, we had well, I don't have to tell you guys, right? It's really slow downtown. So what we have expected to see in the meters is not there, the revenue is down. So it's good that we've built up a good amount and city council passed that we can release those funds from the parking into all the other fun stuff.
And the power issue. a little bit of a factor.
Yeah, just storms,
Still might be.
Yeah,
so.
okay, any other reports?
And then I guess the only committee that met this month was marketing and promotions. But just first, in terms of the staff hiring, we are interviewing this week, so hopefully we'll have a good idea by the end of the week. And we hope to get someone in place, because everyone is pretty local, by the end of the month or early May, fingers crossed. And then the marketing and promotions committee notes were included in the packet, but just a few highlights. Shopping map, again, the deadline for ads, which I'm pestering people about, is the 21st. So far, the level of interest in ads is down. But we'll just go forward with what we have. The trolley, we have the 3 ride sponsors of the Perry, Hillwinds, and Bayview. We don't currently have any ride sponsors, so our revenue on that is down as well. In terms of upcoming events for business retention, we have Wake Up Downtown is scheduled for May 20th at the Perry, and that's kind of and these will all be going out, but I just got that date scheduled yesterday. So that'll be the morning kind of what are the upcoming activities over the summer and other updates. And then if you read the marketing and promotions notes, I had started down the path of the annual meeting Toasted Downtown, but then realized I did not have the ability to pull it off. So we're changing gears, and we're still gonna do an event at Beards. We're gonna do a Thirsty Thursday, and that's gonna be May 8th. And it's gonna be similar. There's a couple different things that they want to release or kind of make public, and so we're giving them that opportunity. So that information will be going out. The service effect, which is that hospitality training that the chamber does for us, that's scheduled for June 17th. And the spring restaurant week that the chamber is doing is going to be May 2nd through the 11th. And they're just getting that together. We'll promote whatever downtown restaurants are involved, but that's the spring event. Sounds of Summer, which are July and August Friday evenings. Liz does have all those acts lined up, and they will be announced on May 7th. And then I was just reviewing the questionnaire we sent out after sidewalk sales last year, just to because a lot of it we asked about changing dates or not changing dates, or just Friday and Saturday, and pretty much the majority was stay the status quo. But so now we have to come up with ways to kind of liven up Mitchell Street. I thought of asking the electric department to come and do a meet a lineman, because now everyone knows what linemen are. So you can meet a lineman that keeps your electricity going. And it's also this year is Meyer Ace's 90th anniversary. So I've asked them if they want to do something in conjunction with sidewalk sales. And it's Metler's 50th anniversary.
Wow.
You may have seen that Blue posted they are closing the home store, but they're keeping the other store open.
When does the home store close?
Wait, who is this?
Miller's.
Miller's
Releases it.
home. He didn't tell me.
I didn't ask them.
Do
Okay.
we know if anything's going in there or
No,
the tea, because the tea place went out too, right? But they seem to be doing stuff
They
in
seem
there.
to be doing something in there, getting it ready for something or someone.
My understanding there's a t-shirt shop going in there. But so there were some other suggestions on how to kind of, mostly Saturday is the day that needs livening up for sales, and just try to make it a bigger event. So then there was discussion of porta potties. I don't know where those are gonna go, but so that'll be coming up. Before you know it, And let's see,
Oh my gosh, I don't.
the
want some
other,
more.
other business retention activities, I did submit the 2 match on maintenance grants, so those are submitted. We won't know until the end of June which ones are awarded. And then those contracts don't get in place till September, so it's a very long process, but we will see. On design, the St. Francis students will be doing the flower planting on June 6th. And then on the design committee, as the DMB is aware, we were working on an easement agreement with the owner of the Hollywood building. And when he was presented with the easement, he is not interested in moving ahead with the easement. He thinks it wasn't his understanding of kind of his responsibility versus the city's responsibility. So I'm going to ask the design committee if they want to approach him doing more like a matching grant and see if, would he go halfway to fully renovate the sign, and we go halfway. That's not going to give us the permanent protection we were looking for, but if we got the sign fully redone, it should be looking good for the next 15 years at least, if not more.
What is the cost of that?
I think the total cost of the sign, let me think, was it?
About?
It was like 18,000. When I come to the DMB, it was approving up to 20,000.
Yeah,
So,
I'm trying to remember what the deal was with that. It was where the lights had to be on for a certain amount of time.
no, we didn't necessarily have an issue because it's a perpetual easement, and what we put in there is that we would spend the money to upgrade the sign. And we wouldn't spend anything more for 5 years. After that, there's no guarantees we spend it, but he's giving a perpetual protection that he has to maintain that sign. His concern is it's too unclear, is the city gonna come back in 6 years and say, we don't like what you're doing, do X, Y, Z. He thinks, his perception is that the city will come back on him and make him do things he doesn't wanna do, which is not the intent, and that's not what we do with other easements we have, but that's the concern.
Okay.
So he didn't come back with strike this, change this, it was just, no, not comfortable. So that's about what I've been up to.
okay. All right.
So your feeling, I'm sorry,
Yeah, no,
forgive me,
go for
so
it.
your feeling from him is that it's not negotiable anymore, it's not negotiable.
My feeling is that he won't go with an easement.
But maybe the split.
Right,
The-
maybe he would if we said we will do a traditional facade grant, and we'll pay up to half of whatever the cost is to upgrade the sign. Maybe he will, I don't know. But that's what I want to see if the design committee wants to go down that path.
Okay, basically, he doesn't want any control to be, any of the details after the fix to be out of his control, is kind of what.
Basically, he feels the public should have the responsibility for the sign in perpetuity,
The public,
right,
If there's an easement. If there's an easement.
if there's an easement, right.
So, yeah.
And the challenge with that is that would mean the DMB is putting I'll give you the example. We have an easement across the facade of the Perry Hotel. And it's very similar language. We don't tell them when they have to paint their facade. They have to maintain it. But we don't tell them to what level. When they paint their facade, it's because it's good for their business, not because we're telling them, hey, you gotta paint the facade. And they have applied for facade grants over time to get some of that cost covered. But it's really just trying to protect the resource. It's not, it's not specific of what does maintenance mean, but when you have something, you should maintain it.
Mhm.
But
Well, and the Perry is running a business and
Right.
they need it to look presentable and he's not running a business
it's true.
with his sign. But he's not as invested.
Okay.
I'd like to see that sign.
I think everybody would.
I mean, it's such an iconic thing and now that I'm not under that sign, because I felt funny always saying that, but I just think now that I'm down the road, it's an iconic sign. It's just, not everybody has one of those signs in their downtown and it signifies such history, so.
Not really building those anymore.
Hmm.
Keep
Not really
working.
building things like those.
No, absolutely not, so. All right, well, thank you. Next on our agenda is the appointment of Melissa Lover.
Leverett?
Yes, I met her, she's from Malted Vinyl, and the appointment to our Marketing and Promotions Committee. Is that something that is up for a vote?
Yes.
That is up for a vote. Does everybody know who she is?
Yes.
You've met her, we've all met her.
I do know.
Yeah, really nice lady that's very interested. Seemed to have a lot of knowledge of marketing, asked a
Yes.
lot of great questions for first meeting, I thought,
Yes.
myself.
Oh,
But,
she went to your marketing?
Yeah.
meeting?
Yeah, she was
Oh.
at the first one, just kind of checking us out and everything, so, but she was very, very,
And that's her
involved.
background.
That's her
Is
background.
marketing and everything.
Yeah.
It's probably more scary for all of us because she's gonna ask questions that we're like, oh, I didn't think
yeah.
about that.
But I mean, I think that's good though, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was very good, so.
Very good.
Anyways, so we're gonna take a vote on, the appointment of Melissa, to the Marketing and Promotions Committee. So all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, that motion carries and she is now appointed to our committee.
Do you need a first and second for that, or is that?
Well, we can do motion and support.
This is where I fail.
Okay, so just ask for a motion and support.
Do I have a
You didn't fail, I'm
motion?
just, that's why I was like, oh.
Yeah, okay. Do I have a motion to, for the appointment of Melissa to our, Marketing and Promotions Committee?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you. That
There we
carries.
go. Good job.
Nice job.
I remember when I was
Sign
in
up
that
for
role
this.
for 3 years in a different board, and I'm like, never again.
All right, now we're gonna move on to old business. Is there any discussion of old business? Some of the stuff we discussed is old. That's-
Well, and I guess they didn't have a city, in terms of city updates, they didn't have a meeting, the first meeting of April.
Okay.
And then we just had the ice storm, so they've been busy.
Yeah, everybody's been busy, so. Well, do we have any other things that anybody wants to say?
Everybody give an update.
Yeah. Update, power.
Our power went out last night.
We're in the
and
same
ours
room,
did.
too.
3 to apart from each other and.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
ours went out too.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, I think it was all of Bear Creek and all of Resort Township.
The end of Resort Pike was not out.
Oh, no.
By
It
the-
was
Mine went out
like an
yesterday.
hour For, I mean, it was.
Yeah, it was an
like
hour.
kinda
Like
like- But it was like
9:30.
PTSD of like, oh my God, do we need to
It
hook
was
up a generator? What are we
PTSD.
gonna do?
I wasn't
Brad's
here
like, I
that whole
just
week,
dumped out of
so.
the water. We just dumped out all this water.
That's fortunate.
I was supposed to come back. I'm like, why am I gonna
Why?
come back? The girls were like, don't come back here.
No.
Everyone. So,
I thought the town did a great job with the way that
Yeah.
it was handled, all the businesses that stepped up from the casino, high
yeah, I
five
had
and
a
everything they
weird-
were doing.
weird detachment. Like I felt sad
It
not
was-
being
it was-
here.
Yeah, it's a weird,
And yeah, like, but I kept watching it and reading as much, and yeah, that seems like the casino was amazing.
Casino did a great job, high five, giving out food
Oh, yeah,
every
yeah.
day.
They're-
I mean, a lot of places really stepped up and it was
It's great.
great to see.
Yeah, I had a customer call today and she had no idea what was really going on. And she drove up from, I don't know, Indiana or something, and they were just coming up for the weekend. And they went through Traverse City and they got here and they're like, you can't check in, that we have no power. And they're like, oh, okay. So said, we were so glad we still had gas in our tank to get back to Traverse City.
Oh my gosh.
No,
Because
nobody
there was-
knew, like my reps.
Yeah,
and
I
a lot of
know.
people, I was talking to people, I'm like, yeah, well, we didn't have power. What do you mean you didn't have power? Like for like over a week? What do you mean for over?
Yeah,
If you got a foot outside of the no power bubble, it was normal.
Yeah.
No one was
Yeah.
able to
people
tell.
in Traverse didn't know.
Yeah,
No.
Well,
It was
My place
weird,
down there, they're
'cause
like,
that's where
where
I
are you
went.
guys? I'm like,
Yeah.
hello?
I was
Yeah.
in Chicago and like middle of the week, we're watching the news and the weatherman, because they had storms in Indiana, which I drove through the tornado on the way there 4
well,
weeks
that's,
ago.
they were doing all this
I was,
stuff,
like, on
the
the toll
floods, the
road.
tornadoes.
So they had a lot of coverage on those storms in like Southwest Michigan, and then
It's
he
cold in the
eventually said
Northeast.
one blurb about, well, we haven't even talked about what's happening in northern Michigan. He said Petoskey, Charlevoix, and he's like bad ice storms, but there were no pictures, like it was like 5 seconds. I'm like, well, they mentioned us, and then a girlfriend came from Chicago, went to Kalamazoo for a tournament. She's like, oh my gosh, I had no idea until I started watching the news downstate how bad it was, other than pictures I showed her. But yeah, it was weird, like, I had to go to Facebook, which is fine. I mean, there was plenty of.
You know, there was a lot of like good information
Yeah,
passed,
was.
I thought, you know. You get some of
Everybody
it
was floating
that's
around good
not
information.
so good, but you
yeah,
know,
there was a lot of positivity.
yeah,
It seemed
yeah,
like.
people trying to help people and
Yeah.
everything, so. And luckily, we didn't have people injured, you know, because there could have been some really bad things.
Yes.
Which is another reason why I
Yeah.
didn't get a lot of coverage, because,
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
enough dirty laundry,
right,
no, if you don't,
which
it's
is sad.
I mean, it sounds horrible, but if people didn't die, they're like, oh, it's not gonna cover it,
Yeah.
just because they can't eat or they're cold, that,
yeah,
they didn't die from it, so it's okay.
yeah, no.
I mean,
Um,
It's not a lot of
true.
population, so
I
we just don't really.
Was anyone in Gaylord? Has anyone been down there? It sounds like it was worse
it
there.
was.
Yeah,
It's devastated, like my
yeah, I think you told
granddaughter,
me.
my
Yeah.
granddaughter was out of school for 2.5 weeks. Johannesburg, that whole area, I mean, they got devastated.
they said it was 10 times worse than the tornado.
Yeah,
You're
Yeah.
kidding.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
It was just
worse.
everywhere, all over.
Oh,
Was it
right,
just
instead
a
of
straight-
And that strip that just got thrown over.
And I think, as terrible as it was, you know, for businesses in the area, especially our downtown, for having to be closed.
At least it was
The
this time of
timing
the
was-
year.
Best time of year.
Thank God it was.
Again, like
April.
COVID, like we were lucky then,
Yes,
Yeah.
you know.
and this was
absolutely.
minor compared to
Yeah.
COVID, so.
Yeah, it wasn't a July 1st event, so anyway.
But
Yeah, we had
start
web
having
orders.
ice storms in July.
Well, I meant just
That's gonna be
anything,
bad.
anything,
Some other
national
issues happening.
disaster-ish. No tidal
One of
waves.
those, another straight line wind thing that comes through.
Which I
Yeah.
still see trees down from that.
Yeah.
Like out Mitchell and even below our neighborhood.
Mhm.
And I think about it when I see those, and now it's crazy. But yeah, we had web orders and I had to email the customers and go, we can't even print your labels and the UPS store isn't open, and we lost a couple sales, but
Yeah.
people.
We have a nice storm right now.
Yeah.
You can't get to your.
We can't do
We
anything.
will
Yeah.
deliver as soon as and we'll let you know as soon as we can get it out.
People were pretty nice about it, so.
Stay safe was what we mostly got. It was good.
Well, anything else from anybody? No, come on, onward and upward, right? Well, we've got a couple people. We have not yet adjourned.
Oh, you're done.
Um,
We should have stalled out a few more
Okay.
minutes.
Any updates?
anything you guys would like to add? We're, that old business.
We didn't have a meeting.
No, that's what we had heard.
Cancel it due to the storm
Yeah.
situation, the last one.
That was our last thing, is about the storm.
Art. Our Arts Commission. That's pretty cool. Joe, congratulations. I ran into Joe at the doctor's office for the baby's first checkup.
Oh, gosh.
I had a 94-year-old man there, and there he is, this, and the old guy got in the car and he goes, this breaks my heart. This just is so good for my heart because I saw something replacing me someday. Joe, I wanted to tell you that.
Yeah.
Norm loved your baby. So we've got 3 pieces of art, it looks like, going in. Well, we have the tunnel,
Mhm.
Sunset Park. Looks like we've approved a design for that. And we also have a bench, a bronzed bench with a rabbit and a deer, one holding a binoculars and the other one holding a book. And we're probably won't install that until the spring because it takes quite a while to get it made. But that will probably be someplace where what they talk of the waterfall area, someplace
Or by
like
the
that.
playground.
Like someplace like that, so it'll be usable, people get on it and take pictures, it's a regular sized bench with life-size animals. So.
Cool.
I just give you that summary.
In the city, just citywide, we obviously have been in storm cleanup mode. Certainly appreciate everybody's efforts in this event. A lot of people stepped up and it was very gratifying to see how we came together as a community. So it's a lot of people in this room, a lot of people around the community, just whatever was needed, they rolled their sleeves up and assisted, and we'll be in cleanup mode for a couple more months, probably at least, around the city. So certainly, I think what's helped us, what saved the city of Petoskey was our commitment to underground our infrastructure, electric infrastructure. And that's been a choice over the last 20 plus years. So again, kudos to elected officials for making that commitment. Kudos to public works directors who have managed that effort over the last 20 years. So we really weathered the actual storm pretty well in many ways. So construction projects are started. You've probably seen and ran into some of that stuff. Howard Street, starting at State Street to Grove is our first section. We had to really start there probably. And I've had comments like, why are you starting there when school's still going on? We almost had to start there based on the sequencing of that project. But so we'll be from State to Grove really probably until late May. And then we're going from State or from Grove to Sheridan. Hopefully by the end of August, we'll wrap up Howard Street, but that's a complete reconstruct, similar to what we did on East Lake, the last round. So tearing up everything, all new underground, all new sidewalks, pavement, you name it. Seville lot improvements are ongoing. I'm sure Amy briefed you on that. Pennsylvania Park, contrary to a public opinion, we did not cut down trees in Pennsylvania Park for this project. Put that on the record, maybe once and for all, but likely not. And then Bayfront East Wheelway, taking off from, I always call it the turnaround bathrooms. I don't know what the name of that is. Taking off to Bowling Country Sports, putting in new, this would be concrete, matching what's there in front of the Bay Country Sports area, replacing that trail section. That project has started as well. So a lot of these things will be, other than Howard Street, will be finished before the influx of visitors occurs in our community. So hopefully, that end of May, first part of June, we'll be wrapping some of these projects up. So we have a very short window of opportunity. We certainly want to be as buttoned up and polished up as we possibly can for our visitors. Obviously, Howard Street will be all summer long, but there's not much we can do about that other than grin and bear it. So appreciate your patience with that.
Great, thank you. It's nice to hear that what you've done a long time ago with the underground has
Yeah.
really made a difference.
Mike Robbins,
Yeah.
Mike Robbins,
The foresight.
from the very time he first got here, I remember him saying, we've gotta go underground here. And if it hadn't been for Mike pushing, we wouldn't have it.
And I called Mike a few times during the storm and just thanked him for his commitment to do that. And I think that, and it's very expensive, like Howard Street, we're spending over $1 million just to underground electrical on that section. And that's kind of what we've been budgeting over the last several years is $1 to $1.5 million to take sections of the city. We're about 78% underground right now. And maybe this storm will move us a little faster to get that last 20% done. But it's not inexpensive for sure. It's very expensive to do it, but it's something that I think in some ways it just opens up our view shed, which we all value and appreciate up here. But I think we learned a valuable lesson in that it saved us in a great way during this outage, during this ice storm as well, so.
We would have had power quicker had we gotten transmission of power electric.
Yeah,
up here.
two overhead services that came from the Gaylord area, one that was Consumers Energy, one from a private provider, and both of those were overhead. So had those not gone down, and when I was talking to Mike said, I would have never envisioned both substations going down in one event. That was just hard for him to even put his head around, but obviously it happened. But that was a critical failure area when you still have some overground that's feeding your community. And they got in a helicopter and they rode the line, and it was just devastating. Pole after pole was just snapped off, and it took them a while to get the power restored to our substations. But once power was restored to our substations, we were really in good shape to get the switches fired up, get the circuits fired up. And obviously we still had sections of the community that hadn't gone through that process yet, so we had to deal with those. But for many of us that had already been undergrounded, it was business as usual once we got power to the substation. So
The Great Lakes Energy updates that they send out every day are just mind-boggling. The polls and the number, it's
Over
crazy.
1,000 polls would have had to be.
Like 3 times what they do in 1 year.
8,000.
In the whole,
Is it 8,000?
832 miles of lines.
we are part of a
Wow.
crew of 22 other electric municipal departments in the state. And so we had 3 other departments that came up to assist us: Zealand, Grand Haven, and Traverse City Board of Water and Light were up assisting us for a few weeks. So that was nice as well to lean on those resources during a time of significant need, so.
it's nice to see Carlin interviewed on the news.
All of Emmett County now has power. I was just told that this afternoon at something that we've all do it with some food stuff, that all of Emmett County now has power. There's nobody in Emmett County without power.
And just to the concept, and the mayor and I had this conversation, we were scratching our heads like, we have to transition this building to a warming center in some way. We've never done it before. We did it. There's a lot of people that stepped up. There was a lot of folks that
Gary.
just dropped off food. Gary spent a couple evenings with us, got to know
Overnight.
Gary really well. I had my
Thank you,
bag
Gary.
over in the corner.
Do you know how many people you had through here?
I think on one, that was a Sunday or Monday, it was like over 250 people that one day that came in. A lot of them were coming in for like a warm cup of coffee or
Charge your phone.
charge their phones. We should have called it, instead of warming center, just a charging center. That's what people really wanted and used it for. But some did stay the night and,
That's so nice.
curled up on the corner and.
People were sleeping, that mother had underneath here,
Yeah,
had 2
that
kids,
was full of
a
people.
tent, shut the doors, and they were happy. Other people were out in the chamber there.
Yeah.
Gary
Those
was,
people were spending the night, I guess.
Yeah.
You were overseeing it all?
yes,
I supervised.
Except when he went and says, I'm gonna go look at that couch downstairs. And he disappeared on me and I go, where's Carrie? It was a short nap. He needed what he'd been up for a long time.
Wow, that's great.
Not as long as Shane and Michelle, that's for sure.
Shane and Michelle, his wife, they lived here basically. The most exciting thing I had was it was all quiet here and I've almost fallen asleep. And at 5:25, I'll never forget the time. I was sitting right there in the corner, kind of trying to stay awake, and all of a sudden the lights flickered in here and I go, oh my God, my flashlight. I didn't bring a flashlight. Oh no, what's gonna happen? And all of a sudden they came back on. And I looked out the window and the whole town just came up to light. I wanted to scream, but everybody was sleeping. Turn on. But Shane and Michelle were here.
Yeah, it was all hands on deck for sure.
Michelle,
Did
what
we
a
have dogs
trooper.
and stuff here?
Huh?
Were there?
Some people did, yeah.
I was,
Yes.
yeah, I mean,
I didn't have mine here. Steve took him to a lake, but.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was just 45 degrees in my apartment, that's all. Cause that one night got down to like 17 or whatever.
Yeah, it was.
It was, yeah, we.
People bringing food in constantly.
Yeah.
It was impressive. It was. So.
I have to give a lot of kudos to the casino. They really stepped up for our community as well. They did a wonderful job.
How did you guys fare? You're the only business person here with refrigerated products. Did you lose a lot of inventory?
Yeah, depending on the restaurant and the walk-in freezer capacity,
Yeah.
lost a decent bit. The nice thing was that it was so cold out that you could secure a lot of stuff outside and it was cold enough, so.
We
It's
did
just a
that.
balance, yeah.
we actually ate, we ate really well because of things that thawed, it was like, oh, we should
We gotta
probably have
eat this.
steak, we should have this chicken, oh, look at the fish that got buried, let's eat this.
Okay, is there anything else? We are
You're done.
done?
Please,
Okay.
please
meeting
make
has-
sure I'm on your checklist that I attended though. I
Okay.
need to get my name in there.
Well, we provide some nice information too.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, yes, I make a motion to adjourn.